Alrighty, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy White Album here, and welcome back to another episode of Witch on the Holy Night. Last time we left off, we had the fight between Aoko and Alice versus Toko and Beowulf. And in the middle of that, Alice and Aoko got utterly destroyed, and it was up to the boy Sojiro to come and save them, and save them he did. And he got cut in half. It was a crazy turn of events, let's just say. But here we go, let's keep going on. Let's see what happens. Looks like we're starting to get a little bit more hyped into the fight. Nice quick sip of water. Let's load into the quick load. Here we go. Sorry. Stalemate still. The battle would drag on. Unless Aoko were to use it. Oh, what is it? Powdery snow began to whirl around. The air around her wailed. It was magecraft that transcended all that was mystical. The gate to miracles beyond human comprehension, ready to show itself. You always did love to fight, Aoko. Toko released the crest maintaining the fields. With that, her grandfather would be freed, and the barriers around Misaki would be restored. Which was not what Toko wanted, but it was that or forfeit her life. The crests at her disposal were now twice as powerful as her sisters. Aoko gazed at this new threat with her eyes half closed. None of this was her concern. Far removed from the situation, she was searching for something hidden deeper inside herself, desperate to reach it. There it was, an odd feeling, like picking up algae. It was not the fire of emotion. It was not solid, nor great. It must have been people meant by rising to the occasion. I think that's just a translation error. We're gonna say that whenever I mess up. I think it's but we're like what 40 plus parts in. I'm now using that excuse. Abandoning thought itself, Aoko held on to that feeling as she stared at her enemy. Alright, Toko. She spoke softly, yet more loudly than a scream. You want true magic? You've got it. Focusing her power into the dim crest on her right arm, she weaved the words together. Look at this animation, I like it. It's really nice seeing something like this. Oh, I wish I would have kept going. It kind of just did it for like the effect and it just stopped. A single incantation. A final, heartfelt farewell. A brilliant blue colored magic. Taking time back to when a certain someone had been blessed. To put it simply, magecraft is human wisdom. It is the world as we know it. Magic is the singularity that exists beyond either of those. At the beginning, the first changed all. Next, the second recognized many. And in answer, the third showed the future. Tethered, the fourth concealed itself. And the final fifth had long since lost its significance. Someone once said, had it only ended at the third. Magecraft is the study of history, feats of our making, and life orbiting the planet. But true magic is the... What? True magic is the providence of a god beyond the heavens. There you go. I had to sit down there for a second. Why do those who stand on the earth extol the virtues of miracles beyond humankind and the planet? This was an undeniable sin. Magic was the enemy of humanity. That is why. Those who obtain a new magic are killed by the Red Shadow. Hear me. prime species of all creation. Aoko's voice resonated through and high above the winter skies. The air began to fracture, turning the scenery to broken glass. And there's always one thing I like about TYPEMOON. They always like to, you know, utilize glass as like some sort of like a fuck, I don't know the word, but that's like, it's trying to like come to my mind, but I like as a metaphor, I guess is what I would say, because I know there's a term like through the looking glass. I know it's kind of funny, I'm going off a bit tangent here, but in MELTYBLOOD, Actress again, that was Aoko had 2 stages. One was called Witchontheholynight and the other one was called Through the Looking Glass. And then I know for Tsukihime, its little subtitles, I believe it's a piece of blue glass moon or something like that. So they really like to use glass as like a metaphor to some extent. I don't know what it would mean, but you know, I like that. It's pretty cool. I think it's a very TYPEMOON thing to do. All right, quick sip of water and back to the story. Toko wondered whether she should fight or flee. She decided to try and keep her feelings in check and see this through. The object of her obsession for so many years was right in front of her. Rationality was slipping from her grasp. Both of their fates were now uncertain. Toko had an overwhelming advantage when it came to her crest in the terrain. When it came to true magic, however, if the Aozaki magic was anything like Alice Kuwonji's fairy tale monsters, then mage strength was not part of that equation. At this point, it was Toko against magic itself, and there was no winning against truth. The transcendence and idiosyncrasy, there you go, of true magic renders things like magecraft irrelevant. But can you? Toko stared at her sister, wondering if she could actually use it. Her proclamation lacked conviction. She raised her voice, but that was out of discipline. It had not been the arrogant conviction to sacrifice someone else for her own gain. Having not been chosen to inherit it, Toko could not imagine what the magic in her sister was. Only that it was a force violent enough to change the world. No human mind can withstand the audacity required to make an enemy of the world itself. Especially not someone as indecisive as her sister. The power of magic would surely cripple her. Well, feeling Toko's eyes on her, Aoko doubted herself. She could not help but hesitate. Terror gripped her heart tighter. I have to. She could not run away forever. Her hesitation and terror meant she would never forgive herself for stopping now. Closing her eyes, she pushed herself to the final stage. Time stopped, like a light being switched off. She submerged herself in her own darkness. Everything froze. Everything froze, only she moved. Everything around her disappeared as she passed a limitless stream of stars. And as soon as she did, she wanted to disappear into the empty, thoughtlessness place she arrived in without any answers. Not again. The red shadow will surely come this time. Suddenly, I saw a new memory. Alright, looks like we're at Aoko's point of view. Possibly because I used another to make the trade for blank. I heard a familiar yet new sound. I wish for nothing. I seek nothing. Only to fuse with the consciousness that hurtles backward in time to zero. This sound, the bitter, sad meaninglessness, pulls me by my hair, but I have to resist. The red ghost was always going to be my biggest hurdle. I must forget the value of life. I must forget the dignity of death. The sound persists. It's got nothing to do with this journey. It's just an external distraction. And yet, I think I finally understand. I know what noise has been making me so uneasy. What the? The unsettling whispers were directed at me. Or perhaps, the red shadow was perplexed by the quiet soul listening to it. It glares at me, its eyes full of hatred. How could it be so unprepared? Don't tell me. You can't be serious. You're going to turn me into your prey for that? That is your everything. You have nothing else. The effect of rewinding, the decision to never say never, his prime, his meaningless life. She negated it. She used her superior power to negate that sound which was an absolute rule to him. Just brush it aside, like it was cobweb. The sound disappeared. A new one replaced it. I wish for nothing. I want nothing. A pure, obedient heart. That's why you get nothing. A life of falsehood led by affirmation. This is ridiculous. My legs moved toward the future, but they stopped. Change of plans. I'm taking a different path. Nothing's changed. It's just something had made me real mad. How can I put it? You call this the past, you idiot? If I don't complain about something to someone, I'll explode. Even if it's just the voice, or to he who hears it, or to the part of me who just stays quiet and watches, or to the one who did that to him. With no answer, I opened my eyes. I declare. Aoko released everything she had dragged up. As for what was there, or what she saw, she could not remember. All she held on to was the fury that burned in her heart. Pushed on by something she did not know what, she opened the door to magic. The change was extraordinary. Beneath her, the snow vanished, replaced by a small patch of lush, green grass. This ground had never existed under the frozen blanket. It had been rewritten into a new landscape. The very elements rejected her, as if the world itself was fighting back. The electrical discharge lashed at her body. This miracle threatened to destroy the world. The world had to protect itself. It moved to expunge her. Pain scorched her every cell, trying to tear away her consciousness. But she did not falter. All this pain and this loneliness was to take her to the root. Oh, you hear the music? Dude, this is what I've been missing throughout this game, man, because fucking YouTube is doo-doo like that. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, and I'm back. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I've been missing from this game, man. But she did not falter. All this pain and this loneliness was to take her to the root. Ever since inheriting true magic, she has suffered this torture time and time again. She contended against the voiceless protest of the cosmos. The burden engulfed her retinas and nerves in flames. And then, light. She finally understood. She remembers why she came back and what she wanted to scream. By the name Blue, I speak for order. Hear me. A censoring voice told her to stop. At the edges of oblivion, her hand touched the true form of magic. The snarling red shadow was there, telling her it was no use. So much doubt, so much fear. But such things meant nothing to her, to me. I don't care about the magician's obligations or the destruction of mankind. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. I only have one reason for doing anything right now. God. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I just want to save him. Oh, the blue Sojiro. Wait, is she about to bring fucking Sojiro back to life? All is not sane, yet all shall be right. A blue whirlwind whisked up around her. Casting aside her doubt and sorrow, the magician played her trick upon the world. If she turned into springtime? Just like that? Time flowed backward. Holy shit, alright. It's like when Diavolo uses King Crimson to skip time. Everybody's like, what the fuck just happened? Childhood memories were overwritten. White flowers appeared, as far as the eye could see. Brighter than the snow, they rippled like a wave across the world, devouring it. Oh, she got her battle suit now? She finally got her red hair.
One, timeless, one.
5 timeless words. Order has fallen to ruin. What was declared had come to be. In this time and place alone, the 5th magic had made itself known. In the blink of an eye, the snowy clearing had transformed. A sea of fully bloomed white flowers blanketed the grounds. Only the dilapidated school building and the bare white trees, or winter trees, signified this was the original world. The once cold wind now blew with the pleasant warmth across the landscape. Even the night sky was once again teeming with stars. If one reached out, one could almost touch them. It was a mix of comfort and solitude, quiet enough to carry the sound of insects flying through the air. They seemed far removed from the impurity and grief of humans. A world with nothing, yet one that needed nothing. It was his most precious memory. The winter tundra had changed into a spring meadow. Ulko's so-called true magic confused Toko. Here was pleasing to the eye, but she wanted to see something less. Fuck, I know this word too, I just don't think I've ever seen it spelled. Idyllic? Is that how you say that? Or idyllic? I think that's how you say that. Fuck, I know I've seen that, I've heard that word before. Ulko's spell was clearly no small feat, but the surrounding mana had not changed. Better to be confused though, than deal with something like Alice Kuonju's flat snark. The only changes seemed to be the flower field and Ulko's appearance. Please tell me I want to screenshot that real quick. Oh, I can't take a screenshot right now. Fucking, I will. Ooh, okay. I'll come back to that one. That's gonna be the thumbnail. She seemed to have received some enchantment to her physical form, but it would never be enough to match Toko. Okay, so I know this magic. Toko said with a hint of annoyance. But I'll be honest, this is a letdown. There has to be more, surely. This can't be it. Aoko began walking through the sea of flowers. But she was not heading towards Toko.
いえ、これでおしまいよ。私も、あなたも。
This is it. For me, and for you. Aoko's words sent a wave of unease through Toko. Her sister's voice seemed different somehow. It was mostly the same in pitch, but it had to be the tone. No. That was the same too. Something was off. Could it be? It was then Toko noticed something else that had changed. Not just Aoko in the clearing. The severed body lying at Toko's feet, or Aoko's feet, it was now whole. Corpse reanimation? Wound healing? It did not look Aoko had used a significant formula, and besides, regenerating a body did not bring it back to life. Since the dawn of time, even true magic has never been able to bring back the dead. But the body of the boy behind Aoko was moving. It was breathing, like it was taking a nap.
死者の蘇生が青崎の魔法。いや違う。あれは蘇生というより。
Can the Aozaki magic resurrect the dead? No way. This isn't resurrection, it's... Before she could think of an answer, Toko realized what seemed out of place to her before. Aoko's mannerisms appeared beyond her years. Her appearance had changed ever so slightly, but beyond there had been a change from within. By the time I keep mixing them up. By the time Toko arrived to that seemingly impossible conclusion, Aoko had already closed the distance between them. Aoko raised her left hand to eye level. Toko could see, no, hear the magical energy generating inside Aoko. It was a sound Toko had never heard before. Aoko only possessed a single function low-grade circuits, no better than any third-rate mage. So she generated magical energy at a much lower rate than Toko. However, this speed was absurdly quick. There you go. I was talking a little too fast there for myself. Moving even faster than the blood pumping through her body. You're about to be fucking turned to dust, Toko. You better fucking move, little lady. That's all I gotta say. Magecraft could vibrate? But how in the hell were the activated magic circuits audible? Even the association have never heard of such a thing. Onward to victory. Spurred to action by the sudden dread she felt, Toko hurriedly carved runes into the air. Toko summoned the divine protection to victory, Tyr, to surround herself with a barrier, which was further enhanced by her crest. Paying no mind to it, Aoko held her arm steady, not moving it up to strike her target directly. Aoko commanded herself succinctly. This was beyond magecraft. In just a few words, she had fired 20 magic bullets. Like a meteor shower, the bullets smashed through the rocket-proof rune barrier, as well as Toko's spell-woven coat. You shot them without loading? The protective runes lining her coat screamed. They would not be able to take another barrage like that, and she had already taken internal injuries. She loathed to admit it, but Aoko vastly outclassed Toko in terms of raw power. Even harder to admit was that her sister probably had not even brought out the big guns yet. Jumping backward, Toko drew more runic symbols into the air. In response, her crest burned brightly. But too slow. With a single word, Aoko nullified the runes. dissolving them before they could be given meaning. The power of Aoko's words has surpassed the magical energy of Toko's rune magecraft. With the runes nullified, Aoko continued advancing through the white flowers. From her calmness to her robust spinning of her magic circuits and her breathing, she was different. A woman with sublime self-control, a trait only found in mages with a lifetime of combat experience. You traveled? In time? Given the evidence, that was the only explanation for the Alzaki magic. Aoko's magic circuits had not been amplified. That would have been impossible anyway. Like Toko, she would have to externalize them, which would have just increased the scope of her magical energy and techniques. By nature, the quality of a mage's magecraft or mage circuits did not change, but Aoko was not clearly a superior mage to Toko. So there was only one logical conclusion. In an instant, she had grown from an amateur to a veteran. She fast-forwarded her own time. The scarred red mage turned her back on her sister and ran. She knew she could not win, so she fled toward the old school building. Aoko did not fire. Not out of pity, but because she deduced that an attack at this range was risky. She went to chase after her sister, but stopped suddenly. A few words caught in her throat. She took a small breath. Damn, so she really did King Crimson herself. She fucking propelled herself forward in time. My fucking mouth is so dry after reading all that. Hold on. Finally, dude. Finally got Aoko's red hair, man. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Watch him, Alice. She said, slightly embarrassed by the maturity of her voice. She's now 45 years old. White petals flittered through the air. Without looking back, she made after Toko, her long hair flowing behind her. Alice just casually just standing there. Huh? His eyelids snapped open. At last, Sojiro awoke from his long slumber. Lying on his back, he gazed up at the stars. The trees around him created a porthole into space. Despite seeing all this for the first time, he felt an uncomfortable sense of deja vu. So many questions. What happened before he fell asleep? Why had he been sleeping? Everything was just so hazy. It was like he had walked out of the door 1 minute and woken up in bed the next. With so many thoughts clouding his mind, he could barely recall his own name. All he could remember was a girl he'd never seen before, and something thin around his neck.
Shizuki-kun.
The voice, quiet but clear, belonged to the girl named Alice Kuonji, who was at his side. Oh yeah. He sat up, mumbling incoherently. The black-cat girl knelt next to him. Flowers. He said, paying no mind to Alice. Under the blue moonlight, spring flowers swayed, surrounded by dead trees and snow. Against... Oh, excuse me, I fucking just burped. I'm sorry if you heard that one. I'm sorry. I do apologize for that one. Against the current of night, white petals danced in the breeze like butterflies. Staring long and hard at the spectacle, Sojiro suddenly raised his fingers to his neck. He moved carefully, like he was touching a wound. Then, gradually, he began squeezing. Harder. Harder.
Shizuki-kun.
The voice of the girl beside him brought him back to reality.
せっかく戻れたのに。また行くの？
Leaving so soon? You just came back. Oh, are we about to get a thing where he's gonna be like, yeah, I have no clue who the fuck you are? Is that the whole thing? Or is that where he loses memories? Is right here? He's gonna look at Alice and be like, I have no clue who you are. Where are we? Well, what is going on? She sounded both sad and reproachful, but Sojiro did not understand why. Seeing the uncharacteristic concern in her eyes snapped him to his senses.
行くってどこに？
Leaving. Where would I go? His fingers fell away from his neck. Without answering, he blankly looked to the sky. There was only the infinite darkness of space.
まあいいや。それより俺は何をしてたんだろう。
Well, whatever. What was I doing again? Okay, real quick, before I'm gonna go on a quick little tangent here. There's a cool little Easter egg in Type Lumina for Aoko's stage, with the night version of the stage. Cause you know how you can see all the stars here? On her stage, you can actually see the constellation Orion, which I thought is super cool. Cause little thing about me, I love astronomy. You know, I like to, in my personal life, I like to take, you know, photos of, you know, like the constellations and shit like that. And it's it was really cool when I noticed that in the game.
なんか変だ。ごちゃごちゃしてる。
My head feels strange, like it's full of cobwebs. Sojiro tilted his head in confusion. Alice observed him motionlessly. This bewildered boy was a far cry from the one that made short work of a werewolf. Then again, this was Sojiro. As she stared at him, she realized she did not have an answer he could understand. So she tried asking a question. The same question she had asked him repeatedly as he slept, but eventually gave up, expecting a response to.
今までしずきくんは何をしていたの？
Tell me, do you remember what you were doing, Suzuki? Her quiet question was spoken like an enthralling spell of magecraft. Said spell seemed to work, and Sojiro sank into a sea of memories. On top of the bright, white hill, they quietly sat for a while, like siblings.
誰かの声が聞こえた気がする。
I remember hearing someone's voice.
何かを聞いているようだった。けど、自分は最後まで一言も返せなかった。
I think they were asking me something, but I could not respond at all. Though consumed by the darkness of death, he could still vaguely recall the girl's question. He was not aware that he had died, but it seemed a fragment of time remained from when he had been with her. Sojiro's expression darkened, filled with regret. Looking at his profile, Alice pressed him further.
それで欲しいものは見つかった？
And did you find what you were looking for? Remembering that someone had asked him questions, he gave a slight nod.
ああ、そうだった。
Yeah, I did.
けれどね、アリス。そんなものは見つからないって思っていたんだ。
But I honestly didn't think I would, Alice. Okay, so he still has his memories. Alright. It's just, he's like, what the fuck happened to me? Was I good? What happened? Did I get cut in half? Something like that? And she's like, well, sure, yeah, whatever, man. That's exactly what happened. Oh, okay, yeah, no, you got knocked out. You fought a werewolf, you got knocked out. In the background, she's like, he got fucking cut in half. I would have actually liked to see Alice's reaction at that moment, but it was kind of like I guess it was more for Aoko's reasoning more than Alice's.
ずっとそう思っていた。
This whole time, I didn't think I would. The regret in his voice was accompanied by a hint of strength. Lowering his gaze, Sojiro saw a white flower garden that looked like something from the afterlife. Well, it shone brightly, captivating him.
思い出した。青子の前でざっくり言ったんだっけ。
God damn. He remembers that? Okay, shit. Well, there goes that whole joke I made about, 30 seconds ago. Not even 30, like 10 seconds ago. I remember now. I think I got cut in half in front of Aoko.
なのに生きているのはどういうことなんだろう。
But then, why am I alive? Sojiro said, prodding his body curiously. His arms were their old sleeves again. But what of Aoko? He turned towards Alice, looking for an answer, who sat among the flowers looking sullen.
巻き戻されたのよ、しずきくんは。
You were rewound, Suzuki.
この風景も本来はあなたの記憶だけど、わからない。
This place is from your memories. Don't you remember? Alice seemed to be speaking in riddles.
俺の記憶って、その割には知らないところなんだけど。
My memories. That's weird. I'm drawing a blank.
今しずきくんの時間は青子に使われているから、それが戻されるまで思い出すことはないわ。
Right now, your time is being used by Oko. Until that time is returned, you won't be able to remember. She answered ominously as she cast her gaze over to the flower garden.
でも、これが消えてしまうのは残念ね。
It's a shame all of this won't stay.
元に戻れば、思い返せるのは私だけなのに。
Once your time's returned, I'll be the only one who remembers. Looking at the white blossoms, she smiled momentarily.
うん。
Her words only confused him further.
アリス、君答える気がないんだろう。
You're not gonna tell me, are you, Alice? He said dejectedly, prompting Alice to face him. What emotions lay inside those deep eyes?
意味のない話だけど、聞きたい？
It's pointless having me to tell you, but do you want to hear them anyway?
聞きたい。アリスが教えてくれるならなおさらだ。
Yeah, if it's not too bothersome, Alice. Sojiro nodded enthusiastically while Alice took a deep breath and closed her eyes. When she spoke in a caring tone, as she was capable of.
結論だけ言うと、あなたは一度死んで生き返ったの。しずきくんが瞳子さんに殺されてから、青子が目を覚ますまでの5分間分の時間を巻き戻して。その時、あなたは10年近い年月を青子に使われた。二人とも肉体年齢は変わってないから、中の時間だけ持っていったんでしょうね。だから今、この景色を懐かしく思えるのは青子だけ。そして、
The long and short of it is, you died. Then you came back to life. After you were killed by Toko, Aoko rewound the 5 minutes before you opened your eyes. Meanwhile, she used roughly 10 years of your time. Neither of you changed physically, so she must have borrowed time from you mentally. That's why right now, this beautiful scenery would only bring back memories for Aoko, in possession of your time. And once that time exchange was over, neither Aoko nor Sojiro would remember what happened during these memories. When Aoko used someone else to channel her true magic, it did not affect her alone. If she had rewound time for only herself, the temporal inconsistencies would form part of her own experience. However, this was proper time travel. The inconsistencies would be corrected. When the magic ended, both Aoko's memories of this place and Sojiro's unfamiliarity with it would be corrected. This miracle would become unrealized. Only the observers will remember this brilliant white sea of flowers, Alice and Toko.
時間を持っていく？
So wait, is this like a... Okay, I guess it's like this is like a time and space type thing. It's like it's gonna be like I don't. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Alice? She's like, the flowers and the stars. You guys don't remember that shit? They're like, no, we don't. Are you on the spectrum right now? Let's get back to the story. She borrowed my time? Sojiro asked, his head tilting even farther at Alice's general explanation. He recalled how Oko said that if you gave Sojiro a roundabout answer, he would stop asking questions, even if he did not comprehend it.
しずきくんを生き返らせる方法はなかったから、命の復元より死そのものの回避を青子は試みたのよ。
There was no way to resurrect you, so instead, Aoko attempted to circumvent your death completely. Oh, so she's breaking the canon event? Uh-oh.
まだ青子には無理なのか、それとも今回もひよったのか。
Perhaps because she was unable, or because she was hesitant.
大きな操作は避けて小さな操作。自分とあなただけの交換にとどめたよね。
She avoided any large-scale manipulation, and settled for a smaller exchange between the two of you.
あなたは今5分間だけ時間を飛んだことになるわ。
That means you've effectively jumped through the time by 5 minutes.
仮に遠い未来、この時間を検索できる人がいたとしても、あなただけは誰にも見つけられない。だって時間軸の上にいなかったんですもの。
Even if someone from the distant future was able to look through time, they couldn't find you in those 5 minutes because you don't exist in regular time anymore.
そして同時に、青子は自分の時間を上乗せするために、あなたから時間を借り受けた。
Simultaneously, Aoko borrowed your time to advance her own.
多分幼年期の時間でしょうね。個人の時間操作は忘却している部分の方が楽だと聞くし。しずきくん。
More than likely, time from your childhood. From what I understand, individual time manipulation is easier when using forgotten memories. Shizuki? Should I slow down? Alice asked with her eyes. All Sojiro could do was nod.
つまり2つの奇跡を青子は行使したの。
So Aoko used 2 miracles.
あなたの体の巻き戻しと自分の体の早送りね。
She rewound your body and fast forwarded her own.
しずきくんの時間に介入する際、ついでに10年分の時間を借り受けて未来の自分を持ってきた。
When going into your time, she borrowed 10 years of yours to bring her future self closer.
だから今瞳子さんを殺そうとしているのは27歳分の時間を持った青崎青子ということになるわ。
Therefore, the one trying to kill Toko right now is actually an Aoko Ozaki from 27 years of experience. So damn, she's like what, 37? Technically now? That would make sense why in MELTYBLOOD she's like damn near 40. What on earth was Alice talking about? Sojiro's expression gave away his thoughts, though the part about Toko made him furrow his brow.
瞳子さんを殺すって青子が。
Aoko's gonna go kill Toko?
もう終わってるでしょうけど。
If she already hasn't, yes. As soon as Alice answered, Sojiro sped off. Picking up white petals behind him as he ran, the brave boy who defeated a werewolf was back. Alice watched him go. On a snowy night, the same boy ran down Shiro Inuzuka Hill for her too. Sojiro entered the old school building. Lights flashed and the sound of destruction exploded around him, threatening to turn the area into a burial ground. Still, he remained focused.
ほら、
See, Aoko?
悪いけれどやっぱり無駄だったわ。 青子。
Sorry, but I knew this would happen. Her words only reached the white flowers around her. Aoko knew Sojiro too well, so she wanted Alice to stop him. If he tried to interfere in the battle against Toko, she would not protect him this time. But it was too late to celebrate Aoko's judgment now. The girl in black had no intention of going after him. She simply sat for a while, gazing forlornly at the transient flower garden. A storm of magic bullets struck down, a hail of lightning blades. A mage's workshop was their home base and last line of defense. It featured an abundance of defensive spells. Let me say that again. It featured an abundance of defensive spells designed to cut down brazen challengers and thieves. The old school building was no exception, painstakingly rigged by the puppet master and rune mage Toko Aozaki. A reflection of her bizarre obsessions. The workshop was set to indiscriminately destroy any intruders. Stay still for one damn second, you freak. Toko complained as she ran down the hallway, activating her traps along the way. But nothing seemed to work. None of the runes, regardless of their quality or quantity, could slow down her sister. Her reaction speed and ability to predict attacks would only be described as transcendent. Even magic bullets she fired from both her arms were too much, destroying the runes in the very walls that housed them. Is this all your newfound maturity has got you? The ability to smash things like a child? As she spat her words, the ceiling opened, increasing the pressure from the runes. Invisible walls popped up in the hallway. Aoko stopped and swung her right leg upward. Straight toward the ceiling. Her foot cut through the thick air like a knife through butter, shattering the ceiling and the runes along with it. You're the one to talk. Always going overboard. Don't you ever get fed up of creating runes? You're not trying to build a space fortress. This building holds precious memories for people, so show some damn respect. The wooden boards along the hallway that withstood decades of wind and snow were now destroyed. Aoko charged forward. The chaos was inevitable. While Toko's runes cursed living creatures, Aoko's magic bullets destroyed all without prejudice. Ha! You don't have an elegant bone in your body. To think you're my sister. Toko would do anything to change her blood, but there was more pressing matters at hand. The girl rushing her now was not the sister she remembered, but rather a more complete version of her. Toko cannot afford to let her guard down for a second. But this is supposed to be magic? Don't make me laugh. Localized time travel. Toko didn't believe that was the true nature of the Aozaki's magic. Aoko's transformation had to be a mere byproduct of true magic. You cannot make heads or tails out of its depths, even with Aoko having achieved it. At the very least, it was not so simple a miracle. After all, the concept of time travel was already made possible through the second magic. Record manipulation, revision of possibilities, and so forth involved the operation of parallel worlds. So, there was no way that could be the fifth magic.
となると、次に出てくる疑問はこれか。
Which brings me to my next question, Alko.
青子、貴様、その10年分の時間をどこから持ってきた？
Where the hell did you get those 10 years from? Those 10 years. What? Oh no, she'd be 17, so that'll be right, she's 27.
あのボンクラからよ、悪い。
From that moron outside. Got a problem?
後で返すんだから、あんたに非難される覚えはありませんけど。
I'm gonna give his time back after, so don't you dare judge me. That made sense. There was a bias, but the amount of time on this axis had not been changed. But...
では、あの5分間はどうする？
So, what are you gonna do with those 5 minutes?
まさか私を始末した後、彼を元の状態に戻すのか？
Finish me, then return to his former state? Is that your plan? Aoko stopped in her tracks. Toko had took aim at Aoko's glaring oversight. Alzaki magic and Aoko's humanity were inconsistent.
そうだ。時間操作では死者の蘇生は許されない。
Yeah, you can't revive someone by manipulating time.
お前がしたことは一時だけの気休めか。
All you've done is console yourself for a moment. The magic crest on Toko's back began to demonstrate their true worth. Drawing upon the magical energy stored in the crest, she materialized in her largest trap yet in the hallway.
あるいはより罪深い暴虐ということだ。
Or maybe you committed an even greater sin. 3 runestones appeared. Their scale and level of magical energy were wildly different from other runes. Created by Toko herself at the Mages Association, they were replicas of one of the most lost primordial runes created by a Nordic giant. The 3 thin crystalline lenses amplified her carved runes tens of millions of times. They rendered projectiles like magic bullets ineffective. Even if Aoko's magical output far exceeded Toko's, these giant slaps were several times more powerful still. Aoko's signature magecraft only released magical energy, so she had no way to defend or evade the attack.
Main, set.
Pushing herself on, Aoko took a deep breath of resolve. Instead of defending or dodging, she went low and charged into the rune storm. You don't even exist within this time's axis, do you? Infuriated by the realization, Toko set her magic crest to full power. Through repeated, second-long bursts of time travel, Aoko was able to avoid the runes completely. She was either sending the attack's impact to a different time, or laying several thousands of herself upon one another. Whatever. No one should keep that kind of magical energy output.
1枚目
1 down. Aoko kicked the crystal slab to pieces. 2 remain, distant 30 feet. Toko had 10 seconds of magical energy left, but that was all she needed. Aoko, on the other hand, would stop now if she had any common sense as a mage. She couldn't continue breaking the rules for much longer. Then again, time travel itself was breaking the rules.
Aoko!
Fucking tell that shit to JoJo, bro. I'll tell you that for a fact. Once again, Aoko used the same technique. Toko's suspicion turned into white-hot hatred. We could not care less about her time travel formula. It was the amount of magical energy she had. Where was she pulling this energy necessary to jump through time for so long?
やはりそうか。お前は。
Wait. I knew it. It was the death of Sojiro Suzuki. If she had brought him back 5 minutes to when he was still alive, where would those 5 minutes go? Aoko's magic wasn't using parallel worlds to change this one. He had only rewound Sojiro's 5 minutes. Then logically, he returned to being a corpse as soon as the magic ended. Time travel didn't change the world. Time travel that didn't change the world couldn't change the past. Therefore, if she wanted to save him, she had to either truly resurrect him, or send those 5 minutes of reality somewhere far away without returning them.
2枚目
2 down. Aoko showed no sign of slowing. From behind her crystal barrier, Toko glared at Aoko with disdain.
答えろアオコ。貴様、彼の時間をどこにやった。
Answer me, Aoko. What did you do with this time?
そこにあった熱量の帳尻をどうやって合わせている。
How are you gonna balance all that heat?
そんなの知るか。あいつの時間なら遥かな未来に置いてきたわよ。
How the hell should I know? I tossed this time somewhere into the distant future. What? 15 feet to go. Faced with such madness, Toko wanted to cover her eyes. He put the dead of the present into the distant future? The time paradox would have been more humane. Such an enormous, haphazard consumption of heat cannot be allowed. After all, time travel alone required a massive amount of energy. Magical energy was required to bring things from somewhere else. At the same time, losing something that exists here consumed an incredible amount of energy. What about the magical energy used for cooling? If either fell out of equilibrium, it would mean total chaos. The distortion caused by her magic would come to affect this entire sector of space.
バカ、ここに極まったな。
How in the hell can you be so dumb?
何千億年後に来る宇宙の死滅、人類の行く末に待つデッドエンドにさらなる負債を押し付ける気か。
You're gonna pile that debt onto the dead end of that humanity will reach? You're gonna lay it at the feet of the heat the heat death of the universe? Man, that was a weird fucking sentence to read.
この星の頭上に隕石を作っているようなものだぞ。
That's like hanging a world-ending meteor over the head of this planet. Well, I mean, the dinosaurs had that, so why not humanity?
というか、お前の重みでこの星を押しつぶす気か。
Or are you planning on crushing the Earth underneath your own weight? What? The last comment made Aoko's eyes widen. Her every step exerted so much force it broke the floorboards beneath her feet.
その時はその時で、今度は負債を過去に送ってやるわよ。それなら文句ないんでしょ。
I'll worry about that later. Next time, I'll put the dead in the past. That better?
歪みに潰されるのは過去だけなんだから。
Then only the past will be crushed by the distortion.
それで解決したつもりか。
That's your master plan?
現在が確定している以上、過去を消滅させてもいいと。
Save the planet by destroying the past?
それでいいのは私たちだけだ。問題の総量、宇宙の負債はどうする？
That saves us. But what about the heat problem and the burden on the rest of the universe? Exactly. Even if the universe were closed, or the present were still expanding, the absurd increase in heat consumption would become uncontrollable. That's what waits for the end of infinite expansion, infinite consumption, and infinite growth is a future without hope. The nothingness before creation. Eventually, the universe would burn up.
青崎の魔法はその結末をより確かなものにするだけだ。その責任をお前は。
I mean, The Azaki's magic only makes that conclusion more certain, and that's on you.
言われなくても分かってる。
Don't you think I know that already?
責任なんて私が生きてる間に何とかするわよ。
I'll figure it out. As long as I live, I'll figure something out. 5 feet to go. The ruined blast, now carrying all of Toko's hatred, focused into a scorching hot laser beam. Her body being torn by the intense heat and her emotions raging, Aoko drove her foot into the ground.
責任を取ると言ったな。ではその具体案は。
Oh? You'll take responsibility, will you? How exactly?
そんなのこれから考えるに決まってるでしょ。
I said I'd figure it out, didn't I? Starting now.
お前は最悪だ。
You make me sick. Toko's last defense was shattered. Close enough to connect, the two mages unleashed their magecraft. Red runes, blue ether, and a cascade of magic bullets. Toko's Azaki's crests were torn to pieces, and so was Toko herself. Meanwhile, ooh, but I think that's a good place to stop it. Man, whew, what an intense fucking episode that was, man. God damn. I kind of regret not having music on because YouTube is kind of skanky when it comes to that. But god damn, music really does make a game, doesn't it, dude? I'll tell you what. And finally, man, Aoko got her red hair. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for this for so long. Let's go. But it seems like after everything is finished, Sojo's still gonna fucking fall into 2 pieces. That's gonna be fucked up, right? He's at work. The next he just fucking collapses into a heap of flesh. But man, let's see. I really do think we're at the end here, guys. And I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped. I want to see how the story ends, man. Apparently, from what I've seen from the trophies, there are bad endings. I don't know how to get those, so obviously when I do beat this game and I say like the good ending, I'll attempt to go for the bad ending. But that's going to be it from your boy White Album today. I hope you guys did enjoy, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys next time.